Hey, I'm Mike and welcome back to Chul's Garage. Today we have some shop upgrades going on. I actually sold a couple of my motorcycles in order to finance the newest purchase. So these just got dropped off about, I don't know, an hour ago or so. We got a tire change machine, and in this crate here, which hasn't been opened yet, we got a balancer. I'm pretty excited about this. I've always wanted these machines, and you know, do I absolutely need them? Maybe not. But do I need a lot of things in this shop? Probably not. Since I'm not a professional mechanic. But I do love the fact that I'm going to be able to change my own tires and balance those. I do a lot of motorcycle work. I have behind the camera right now, there's 4 of my bikes. There's another one on the lift back here. I got 2 or 3 in the garage. So I bought the adapters for both the balancer and the tire change machine in order to do motorcycle wheels as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. So what did I get? Well, I went with the Katool KT-T830W. I've actually only seen it online as the T830, but the box is W. That's the tire machine. That's here. When it got delivered, there was a little bit of damage to one of the corners of the box. The driver was great, helped me just get the package off, make sure that there was nothing wrong. Happy to say it doesn't look like anything was wrong. For the wheel balancer, I went with the Katool KT-B760, and that one there, it's a dynamic balancer, like a lot of them out there. This one had a couple more features, which I'll get into on maybe a overview video or something. One of the big things was that I liked is it has a laser that helps you line up right where you're going to put those weights. But this whole setup, shipped, taxes, everything, was about $2,500. So it's no coats. I get that, but I'm pretty excited. I think it's gonna do well for my shop. Now these things here, there's plenty of cheap eBay brands out there. I did get these on eBay. I've seen these sold on Temu. I've seen these sold many places. Best Auto Equipment. And you have Mayflower, which is another big one. I think their 988 is their one of their more common tire changes. You have the XK. That's a big one that I found on YouTube. I really liked the Katools, just from all the videos that I watched, and I scoured the internet looking for videos on these. And for what I'm doing, they seem like they're pretty squared away machines. The 830, I went with the 830. It's got the dual assist arms. So it has on the duckbill side, it has the roller arm, and then on the other side, it's got a paddle that helps you keep the tire down. From what I can tell, mainly used for low profile tires and things like that, so it might not be using it all the time, but the price was not that much more to get the assist arm, so I went with that. The 830's got the bead blaster as well, and yeah, other than that, it's pretty basic machine. So I'm pretty excited to dig into these and see if we can get them put together. They're on the wrong side of the shop right now. They're actually going to end up on the wall behind you. And I have been doing some reorganization of the shop in order to make room for those. I actually, I don't know if you can probably see, I've stacked up a few shelving units over here. Don't worry, they're bolted in. They're not going anywhere. I keep light stuff up there. But I ended up doing that, reorganizing some shelves there. And in my little car garage underneath the house, I put in 2 big, like 6.5 foot by 6 foot tall, hefty shelving units in there for like long-term storage, just to try to make some room in the shop. And when you build these things, you think you got all the room in the world until you start putting stuff in there. But anyways, pretty excited. I'll kind of take through the assembly and give you my thoughts. There's plenty of videos of these out there, but I figured why not, I'll do one too. So hey, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you like this video on the shop upgrades. So let's get to it. All right, we're gonna get this wheel balancer uncrated. The driver helped me lift that one straight off. I'm hoping I can kind of do the same with this makes it a little easier. So they got these tabs here. Actually, the foot works really well. So they're slotted in and bent over. So I've just been going around opening these up and seeing what I can. Let's see if we can get this thing off. You know, they make this look a lot easier when people speed it up on YouTube. Which is probably what I'll end up doing with you guys. Oh. We got liftoff. Kinda, maybe. Oh, there we go. All right. That's what it took. Ta-da! You guys get to see it before I do. Yep. Yep. Looks like a balancer. Looks good. No obvious signs of damage. Obviously, I got to get the plastic unwrapped, but it looks good. All right, so there's the Katool KT-760. And that's the tire changer, the T830. So that's how they look coming off the truck, coming out of the crates. Let's keep digging in. Let's start tearing into this. See what we got. Starting out with the balancer here. Honestly, because I'm by myself right now, and I think that's going to be the easiest one to deal with. So, let's see what we got. Obviously, everybody kind of always worries. I know I do about, you know, when you're ordering this stuff from, you know, eBay or whatever. I'll say with this, so I ordered directly from Katool, which I believe is their, you know, like I ordered directly from on their eBay account, their site. Everything was great. It showed up here a little over a week, which was nice. And oh, losing my control panel here. So that was nice. It was free shipping. I did have to pay for residential service. All right, here's our control panel, which is got some surface scratches on it, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, so I had to pay for liftgate service, and I had to pay for residential delivery. So that was originally going to be, I think, 160, and then actually eBay had a coupon that made it 140 bucks or 143 bucks. So that worked out. It was definitely worth it to not have to worry about it. I tell you this, not a whole lot in this thing. Take a look. Fine, I'll come and get you. Check it out. This is all that's in there. You got your little electric motor, little controller board, which doesn't look like much, and then your brains of it, just in that sensor there, I guess. I think that's it. It's kind of crazy. All right. Another option with the 760 is the measuring device. It's not just a ruler. It actually has a sensor on it, and it can do the calibrations for you in ALU2, I believe, and ALUS modes. So that was kind of nice. It's just another option. Here's my control panel. Kind of tough to see, but I got a scratch on this, but some stuff, yeah. As long as all the numbers work and everything, I'm not going to get too upset about that. Here's our top panel, and then obviously where the wheel goes, box of parts, It's been sitting around for a little bit. It's a little dusty, but it's a manual measuring device that comes with it. But again, one of the nice things about this unit is don't mind my dogs. They're barking at the mailman. Nice thing about this unit is that it can do those measurements for you. So there it is. We'll keep digging it out. Looks like there's just a few. Okay, so that's the front. So we have to mount this to the back here, I believe. Run those cables through. Connect up the cables. There's it's like 3 ribbon cables on that control board. I see connector for 1, 2 there. And where's lucky number 3 going to be? Oh. It's here somewhere, I'm sure. Figure it out. This plastic out of the way. Let's see, what do we got? We got this box here. Alright, so that's going to be your what locks the wheel onto the balancer. I'm trying to figure out how this thing is. Oh, it's just jammed up right there. Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? Your third ribbon cable will end up going to that. Okay. But here's your top with your control panel. I do think it's funny. All the videos I've watched have mentioned how there's 2 start buttons. I saw one guy say dealer's choice. I liked that. Yeah. Get that out of the way. And let's see, we got our main and only box of parts here. Let's see what's on here. Okay, what do we got? Bits and pieces. Oh, alright. Comes with a little wheel weight tool. I had actually bought one, which is a little nicer than this, but I didn't realize it was going to come with that, so we'll stick that over there. And then we got different adapters, I'm guessing. Yeah. And there's a center shaft for the. Yeah, so then they give you one weight. This is 100 gram. I had seen like 3.5 ounces on some of them too, but this is what we'll use to calibrate the machine. And I didn't have any nice, like, known good or tires and rims rolling around, so I actually ended up buying. They say you can use a 14, a 15, or a 16, so I went with 15. It's in the shop somewhere. I bought a new rim, just a steel rim, a Dorman rim, and you know, a tire that was on clearance from Walmart. Just figure one, I can put it together with my new tire machine, and then I'll use that. I'll just keep that on the rack somewhere as what I'm going to periodically balance the machine with. So what I don't see. Oh, because it's in here. Okay. What I was looking for was the stand for that screen, but it's actually bolted inside here, and you guys might have seen that when I was showing you. So we'll end up unbolting that and flipping that around. So that's what I was looking for there. So if you guys buy one of these machines, by the way, don't throw this weight out. You are going to need it. Overall, I haven't seen any. Okay, well, there's a scratch here. What are you going to do? Anything really wrong with the unit? I think I was talking before about instructions. About, you know, being nervous about ordering these online. And so far this experience has been pretty good. You know, it has made its way from China, obviously, but this got shipped to me out of Texas. So, you know, there's a couple of marks here and there. I just noticed this one. But, so she's not perfect, but overall, I'm pretty pleased. They got it screwed down to the, lag down to the pallet here, not very well. These front two are almost out. I can get those out by hand, but it is lagged down. So I don't know if you guys see in the background here. We're doing a water pump on the old C4 and idler pulley and front timing cover. I haven't gotten the timing cover off yet. I got to check in there to see if we might. I'll check the timing chain and everything while I'm in there. But that's what's going on with the C4 right now. I know I haven't done a video on that in a while. So yeah, not too much to this one. We'll take a quick look at the instructions just to make sure that we're doing everything in the right order. But biggest thing I need to figure out is just that the adapters that it comes with, just so I know what each one of those do. But as far as putting the machine together, doesn't look too difficult. I mean, more difficult moving my motorcycles out of the way to put this thing where I want it to go. Looking at the welds inside this thing, get a little bit of splatter, but she'll hold. So one thing I will say, when you're moving this, don't pick it up by your shaft. You know, that's where all the magic happens. So you don't want to do anything to knock that out. I get this Harbor Freight dolly. It's actually had a motor for an 82 Suzuki GS650 sitting on it for quite a while, actually. It's my project that I started like 10 years ago and haven't finished, but what are you gonna do? That bike actually was pretty cool. So 82 Suzuki GS6 550M naked katana bike. They only sold the 550 in the United States for, I don't know, a year or maybe two. Yeah, it's been a fun project. I actually stripped that down to the frame, had the frame powder coated, and was able to done a lot of work on it. Actually, the shelf back there is full of parts, but I was in the middle of putting the motor back together, and then I just life, man. I haven't gotten back to it. So it sits in my basement, and yeah, sits in the basement, waiting to be finished someday. Okay. Clean up a little bit, we'll get back to it. So it's a few hours later, and truth be told, I had to head out and help my dad fix his tractor. But making some progress, been cleaning out this corner, trying to reorganize things. My thought is to have the tire machine in the corner, then the balancer here. Balancer being shorter if I want to put some shelves or something up here, that maybe that would work better. My only concern is I don't know how far out the assist arm needs to go, and then I got the bead breaker too. So kind of playing with those two things, unfortunately. So I have this still on the cart. that's not the easiest thing to move, right? So to kind of like feng shui them around, I don't know, especially once it's together, I kind of want to put it together in place, but working to figure that out. Moved my cleaning cabinet down here, press next to it. Obviously want to have some room when you're working with the press. And then, yeah, so that's where we're at, just kind of figuring it out. All right, we got a few updates. I got a little sidetracked here and mounted up this Craftsman cabinet that used to sit just on top of this one. I really wasn't using it for much, but I'm thinking it would be good to store, supplies for the tire shop here. Anyways, I'll end up painting that white. I think I'm going to use the bottom to hang maybe some pry bars or put maybe a little shelf there. I don't know. Something for some more storage. So with that there, I think the wheel balancer, that's just rolled into place. I think the wheel balancer is going to work best in the corner now that I have that cabinet hooked up there. So the tire change machine will end up being here. So got a little sidetracked doing that. And, it's not 100% yet, but that's where we're at. All right, a little bit later, changed my mind. Back to the original plan. I started looking at it, and I think having the balancer up against the wall would make it hard to get the wheels on and off. So we're going to go, this is approximately, I think, whereabouts it's going to end up. I'll make final adjustments once I get the tire changer up and running. All right, now this is basically in its spot, more or less. This isn't actually very heavy, so it's not too hard to move around. Let's see what we got for constructions here. All right, first thing we're gonna do is we gotta get this display arm out and flip her around so we can mount our display. So it looks like we got a, what do we got? 6 mil. So a little thing I didn't mention when I was talking about my cabinet here. Got myself in a little predicament. I work out here by myself pretty much all the time. I lifted that up and hung it up on the rail, and I thought it was good to go. And yeah, it was not. I headed up the ladder, looked down, and realized that it only had latched. There's like one of those bars that going across that hooks onto. Partial way. I don't even know how it stayed up there. Just as I realized it started to fall. I grabbed it. The ladder went cattywampus on me, and I somehow stabilized it enough, but felt like if I moved, I was coming down. I was able to reach into my pocket and call my wife. And, honey, need your help? So she came and secured the ladder for me so I could get it hung up, but I can't be the only guy that's had to make that call. All right? I hope. I don't know. What are you gonna do? All right, so here's the arm for our screen. So I'm just gonna flip that around. There's just nut certs back here that you're screwing these into. I was telling my wife actually after she came and saved me, and I need a nice neon sign over here, tire shop. Why? I had no particular reason, just because I'm an idiot. I think it'll be cool. Okay. Step 1 done. All right. So we got our screen here, and a couple of little bolts in the back. It's a 10 millimeter lock nut, and then another 6 millimeter Allen head, it looks like, I think. So we're going to feed our cables through here. One of the pictures shows it going through the front, however, yeah, on mine it's closed off, so I don't know, it seems cleaner to me to run them here, getting them all down the bottom, and then see if I can. There's there's 2 big holes down there. So once I get this mounted up, I'll see if I can continue feeding those. Just trying to make these somewhat flat here. Well, I think maybe I wonder if I have to pop that out. The cables seem to pinch like that. Let's go put this down. The cables seem to pinch if you do it that way. So am I supposed to? So I don't know if this shows up on camera, but there is a panel here. There's like a little square here, but it's solid in there. Like it's not. It doesn't look like it's easy to knock out. All right, I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna see if I can get that square out of there. I don't really want to be banging on that while it's attached to the machine. All right, let me go take a look at this. Oh, if you can see, this is. So I'm talking about. See, there's a square here. I don't know if there you go. That's where they want you to pass it through. I just can't tell how easy that's going to be, if at all, to be able to pop that out. But the way that the screen mounts here, it's too sharp of an angle. So let me go take a look at this and see what we can figure out. Well, I was going to go like film and have this dramatic thing, but it took like one whack with a screwdriver and a hammer and it came off. So let me get this mounted back on. I'll be right back. All right, so that's back on. Another thing I did notice, might be hard to tell, but this bracket here, there it is. It's squeezed together a little bit, and it's not fitting around that bracket. So I'm probably, this just has these 4 screws. This is, cheap plastic. I don't want to pry on that and crack the plastic. But I do need to get those apart, unless, can I, you know what? Yeah, that'll be fine. Maybe I'll just do that. I could just offset it. Or can I pry it? All right, let's go figure that out. All right, I took this is the bracket off. Just open it up in the vise a little bit. Good to go. Okay, get that mounted back up. So, I guess, just like the instructions want, we will put our ribbon cables through this rectangular opening here. All right, those are fed through. So we got our nuts, our bolts, sorry. Which, interestingly enough, seem to thread into that bracket. Well, one side did. Must just be the powder coating. All right. Now, I don't know. If you like me, so far nothing that I've had to deal with is anything that means much to me. You kind of have to expect a level of I don't know, not the best fitment, I guess. I don't know. So far, I'm okay. Spread that bracket out a little bit. That was really it, you know. Tiny mark here and there, but on some of the stuff. I traveled quite a way to get here, guys. You know, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna want that up a little bit. Give her a snug. Snug. That's good enough for gummy work. Let me bring you in. So, right now, I have those cables just coming out the bottom, but what I gotta do is we're gonna feed them through these holes right here. So, let's see if we can get that. So this kind of worked the best for me, was to pull them through the bottom, let them hang down the bottom first, and now fish them back up. Easy enough. All right, so we got those. Let me get you in with this here. So, all right. So you can see on the board, you know, it matches. It's keyed. Pretty simple. Make sure you don't bend any pins. Lock that down. All right. What do we got next? Let's see. And we have, okay. So we have this one here. That's going to go to this one here is going to go to the board, the top that's over there. So our next one that we're going to install here is going to be this guy. And again, it's keyed and matches this. Make sure we don't have any bent pins. And let's see. Open those up, I guess, a little bit. There we go. Get that to snap in. All right. And that's for your measuring device. So we'll let that sit, I don't know, over there. All right. So there's our first two cables hooked up. And like I said, the only thing left is for this to connect to the control panel. So we'll let that hang for a second while we figure out what else we're gonna do. There you go. All right, yeah, so here's our top. This is our ribbon cable that's going to attach to. We have some bolts. Interesting. That must come out there. One. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what we got here. That's got to be that one. Nut and bolt. All right, yeah, so they have one nut and bolt here. It looked kind of off. The way they had, but looking, I believe that's going to attach to here. Then we just have some self-tapping metal screws. So let me work on getting those out before I try and hook this up. All right. This is that nut and bolt that I was talking about. This was on this one side here. There's kind of like an access panel that is here if you needed to take this whole assembly out. It looks like it lines up with a hole they did there. So, all right, one thing with this last connector, believe it or not, can you believe the instructions aren't the greatest. they actually show these pins being attached to the other cable, which in my case they're attached to here. There's 2 rows on this. You can see this. Let me bring you a little closer. So there's 2 rows. In the instructions, they call it the blue row and the red row. So looking at the way they're showing it in this direction, they want you to connect it to the blue row. Do not install the connector in the red row. So my pins are in the blue row. So that looks okay. And then the only defining characteristic in this on which way to connect it on this pin, on this cable, is you see these metal marks here. Okay, those are facing that way with this cable you can see right here. So that's what I'm going to use to hopefully do it right. Yeah. All right, let's get the top. Okay, so going by what they said, I believe it gets plugged in this way. All right. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's the way I believe it gets plugged in. Your mileage may vary. All right, let's figure out. I just want to make sure that this cable isn't running near isn't going near any motor, any moving parts. And of course, there's only the one moving part. Let's see. So, just gonna make sure that is well out of the way. Okay. Our screen seems to be giving us a little trouble. Alright, so I've loosened up this screen. I guess note to self. Get your top down before deciding on. It does make a pass, but it's a little tight. Excuse my back, people. I just need to make sure. See, I just need to make sure that I didn't make that cable go anywhere near a moving part. That's my biggest concern. So, all right, looks okay. So we'll get this to fit back down, hopefully. There we go. Okay. Now I can tighten this back up. All right. Good enough. Okay. Get our screws back in. So let me just get this, finish mounting these up, and we'll be right back. Hey, so you know that screw I was going to do anything with? If you flip to the next page, so it is actually supposed to go in here. And it's just, which now that I see what it's doing, it makes sense. It's supposed to support this up so that it doesn't ride on the axle here, or whatever this thing's called. So yeah, read the instructions, guys. So that's what that screw's for. So it holds that up. So we're good to go with that. All right, let's see. Our spring is installed. So I think the only thing left to do is put the shaft on here. I think that's it. All right. Look at our boxes here, see what we got. The little locky doohickey. Lock the wheel on there. That makes sense. All right. Then these are the things I have some. Now, you guys that are more little more versed at this than me probably know what all these do. And maybe they're just different types of, weight up there, different cones for different wheels, I'm guessing. I definitely think that's what these are. These definitely look like different cones. Another one here. And obviously I know what this is. I did have one good YouTube video talk about how to hold this. Is that keyed or something? Wow, you little stinker. Doesn't want to go in very straight now, does it? Now this seems like a fairly integral part here that I wonder if we need to grease it a little bit or something. All right, well I know that center shaft has to go on there. I'm just gonna lubricate this with a little something instead of beating on this. Try to make sure that can slide on. All right, this is a really tight fit. I got a little sill glide that I use on my lift to help me start it. And just hoping it is going on straight. It is slowly making its way in, but again, I'm just trying to be gentle with it. I don't know. I want to know that this is I think that. All right, here we go. Well, compressor time. All right, so you want to get that started, make sure it's straight so you can get some good threads on the bolt. Like I said, I use a little sill glide that I lubricate my lift with, and then made sure that we got that started. And now the bolt is obviously pulling it in the rest of the way. I think there will come a point where I'm going to need to hold this. I don't know how tight that needs to be. I had seen one person talk about using some of the adapters here. And I'm going to be honest, I don't recall exactly how they said they did it. Might have been nah, because it's still just spinning. Sure. But if I'm being honest, I don't know. And coincidentally, the instructions don't say anything. There are some holes here, very crudely drilled. I wonder if I can. Well, look what we have here. Look what fits here. Sure. There you go. Well, that's on. I still don't know what all these adapters do, but let's read the instructions a little more. I bet you we'll figure it out. All right, so here's what I can figure out. We got the 4 cones, and then this goes on the front of the wheel. There was this rubber ring that was separated, but it fits on here. It says nothing about it in the instructions, but I have to assume since that goes against the front of the wheel, that's there to protect the wheel. And then, you know, when you tighten that down on it, you're good to go. So I think our assembly's all set. So the next thing is going to be to power it on. Yep. All right. What's our over-under here that this thing's going to turn on? Well, sure. I don't know. Goes to aluminum. 2, 3, 4. LUS. Static. Oh no, that went back to standard. Oh, that doesn't work with that, does it? Right. Well, look, it turns on. I don't know how to use it yet. That's another video. All right, well, there we have it. So far, we have the KT-B760 all put together. She powers on. Off camera, I was playing with the buttons a little bit. I figured out what was confusing me. Anyways, it's going to be another video, first try, calibration, all that stuff. But that's probably going to do it for tonight, actually. It's getting a little late, and I didn't get as much done today as I wanted to. I don't really want to start on the tire changer tonight and rush my way through it. So I'm going to clean up, and then we'll get at it hopefully tomorrow after work. All right, let's get started unboxing or unbagging the KT-T830 here. It's the next day after work. I'm pretty excited to get this open. My kid's gonna be here later, so he's gonna be able to help me hopefully get this thing safely off the pallet here. I'm hoping to get it onto the jack over there. Not the jack, the dolly, so that we can move it into place with that. So I think I need to sharpen my knife too. So it looks like we got lots of bits to this one. I see the bee blasting hose. I see all sorts of good stuff here. Trying to make sure I don't. Oh, we got the little air lines. Those are like wrapped up in the plastic, so I gotta be careful with that. Yep. A lot of stuff going on there, people. Oh, that's the whole arm. Okay. Let's get this, there we go. Got that out of there. So it looks like it's got a regulator. It comes with oil. That's good. I'm gonna run a dedicated air line over to where this is gonna be set up, but in the meantime, we'll just run the hose reel over there. Okay. There we go with that. Yeah. Bunch of bits and pieces. I think what I'm gonna do is find me some cardboard over yonder. Try to take care of my stuff here. and we'll piece out, part out, make sure that we have all our pieces here. So, all right, so first, looks like we got some instructions. Looks like here's the plastic covers that go on the clamps. Little brush to put on lubricant. So not too much here. Yeah. Which I bought some lube. I'm not sure what you guys use, but I ended up getting this Malco. I don't know, that's what I'm gonna try. And that came with a brush as well. So we'll see how that goes. All right, plenty of grease on it. Let's see what we can get here. So here's our bead blaster. Well, something came out of that. Didn't seem like it should. Let's check that out. What do we got here? Like there's like a plastic O-ring. There's something that just came out of here. I feel like that's supposed to go in there. It does. So let's find a way not to lose that, huh? I don't know what I'm gonna try to do with it actually. Try to keep it attached somehow. Here we'll use. Here we go. There. So we can't lose it. All right. What else we got? A knob. I'm guessing this is to lock the arms in. On the arms. All right. Everything is covered in that oil that they use. All right. Here's our duck bill. That's pretty hefty. Pretty impressed. That was heavy. All right. Cut some zip ties. I'm just trying to kind of be methodical about this. I don't want to break anything. And we'll just go to, I gotta wash the hands for a sec. And I'm back. Just everything's so greasy. Just wanted to get it all over myself. All right, so it looks like here we have our assist arm attachments. So we should have a roller in here, and then I don't know what this other one's called, but yep. So we got that in there, and then we got our roller arm. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna try and keep everything together again. We have these two circular plates and some hardware. And just make sure there's nothing hidden in there. Looks good. Now, I've been told the majority of the bolts are going to be in the bucket. Whatever that is. There's a bucket. It's hidden under there. So I guess we'll see. These are going to be our assist arm cylinders. Don't know if one's different. Yeah, so the ends of these look different. And again, they're covered in grease. So I imagine it'll make sense to me when I go to start putting it together, which one goes on which side. Sorry about my sniffling. Lots of allergies right now. Alright, so here's one of our cylinders. Lots of grease. A little bit of surface rust, actually. But doesn't look like anything too bad. Alright. Second cylinder. Just trying to organize my parts here. Alright, what else we got? Alright, so these are actually the actual assist arms here. I'll tell you, this stuff is hefty. So, I mean, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I would say that these are pretty heavy duty. Pretty well packaged. Just trying to give my impressions here as I unwrap this stuff. Because if you're like me, you watched every YouTube video you could find before deciding to pull a trigger. Because even though, all right, actually this is just one arm. Huh, okay. Because even though it's, you know, not as expensive as a coat or something like that. I mean, this is a pretty big purchase. Most for me. I actually sold some motorcycles. I think I might have mentioned that. Sold a couple motorcycles in order to, all right. Just trying to be careful of these lines. Sorry. Yeah, in order to fund this purchase. All right, took a little commercial break there. My kid just came home from Vermont, so let's keep going here. All right. So let's see our other assist arm. It's gonna be here. Again, another hefty piece. There's airlines pre-run through these assist arms, so just something to think of, to be careful. I'm sure they do fine. They don't look like the most robust things though, so you don't want to pinch them or cause any issues there. Let's see what we got. Okay. So far, I haven't seen any glaring issues with anything. This arm looks good. There is like a, it sounds like sand in the middle of it, some weld splatter or something. That's funny. All right. So that's good. What else we got? And a little rubber pad for the bead brake. Actually, I don't know if you can see this. That's not a great mold, but it'll do the job. Can't get too picky here. All right, let's see. You got our air lines all hooked up under here. I'm just kind of checking. Everything looks good. I tell you, she's filthy. That's for sure. All right. Let's see what we got back here. Well, this will be part of our bead braking arm. A little bit of wear there. Something rubbing on it. Nothing too bad though. More grease. So we got our bead breaker. Alright. Now I know one of the videos I watched mentioned the majority of your bolts are going to be in your bucket. We'll just leave those there for now. What else we got? Okay, we got some control boxes for the assist arms. These are probably the most fragile feeling things. Not a whole lot here. So we got, you know, your up-down box here, and you got 3 air fittings on the back. So we'll have to figure that out. I'm gonna guess one here will be feed, and then up down going by the way this is labeled. So let's hope that that's apparent. And then it came with just some these actually look like little wood screws and some zip ties. And then the second box, which is pretty much the same. Now these look exactly identical. They have the same picture on the front. So, all right, a little reset of camera action there. So I'm going to be working a little bit more on this side now. Yeah, I'm just trying to take my time. I don't want to accidentally damage anything. What do we got here? So, all right. So here's our air gauge and air filler. So one of the things I've come to notice is there's slight differences depending on when you buy your unit, right? So I've watched a lot of videos on this tire machine, and I've noticed a few little differences. One little thing, a lot of them that I've watched, this has been black, sorry, and mine's red, which, you know what, I kind of like that. So I'm curious if it mounts in the same location. There was one video I watched where it was really getting in the way of somebody trying to do a bigger tire. So I'll be curious to see about that. So got a little hook on the back here for it. Feed lines, it's all press fit. Feed lines, let's hope none of them leak. That's really kind of one of my bigger concerns, is that one of these air lines is going to leak, but at least they seem easy enough to repair. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't be looking for a warranty repair on something like that, the amount of time that it would take if I need to replace a line, but we'll see. Alright, last couple of bits. We got our bead breaker. Okay, plastic caps already installed so you don't scratch your rim. That might need a coat of paint someday. I feel like, yeah, I guess that's going to stay on. The reason look at these welds here, I don't know if you can see that, but might be a little rust starting in the welds. I might hit that with something. Let's see. Okay, is that everything except for this big piece? Let me reset, get somewhere safe to put that down, and we'll be right back. And we're back. All right, I just got another big piece of cardboard there. I just want to be able to place this down. I don't want to scratch it up on the concrete. I'm kind of OCD like that. I don't know about you guys, but I try to take care of my stuff. I'm the guy on Facebook Marketplace you want to buy stuff from, because I probably take too much care of most of my stuff. So, some drill shavings here when they tapped out those holes. Not too bad. A little bit of damage down the, not damage, there's like a nick on in the powder coating down here. Not too bad. Now I'm sure you guys know this is actually an air tank for the bead blaster. So got a feed right there. So let's see. Yep. It's got some weight to it, fellas. My hands are a little greasy. So oofta me. Alright. I think this is going to be one of those pieces that you're going to want a little assistance with. So there's the arm. Yeah. That's a hefty unit there, fellas. Should make moving the rest of this a little easier. So here's the accessories that we took off so far. Like I mentioned before, we got the bead breaker arm, we got bead blaster. That's going to be your lock nut or your lock bolt that'll go here for that arm. We got our air pressure gauge, 2 up-down switches, our assist arm ends, our pistons, the 2 assist arms. Then you have the pad for the bead breaker and then the bead breaker. So only thing left over here is the unit itself. Just to kind of take a look at. And we do have the tire iron that it comes with as well. Alright, get you in a little closer. We'll take a look here what everything looks like. It's a little dirty, but again, just a little thing. These stickers are a little different than anything I've seen online. No big deal, just an observation. And I'll show you where. So I got this little nick here. I'll probably just find a little paint to touch that up just to make sure it doesn't rust. But if that's the worst damage we have on this thing, considering how far it traveled, I'm gonna be pretty happy. I don't see anything else. Yep. All right. So that's where we're at so far. There's all your pieces, and I just gotta work to get it off this pallet. All right, my son and I got this off the pallet. It is pretty heavy. We got it close to its final resting point. I'm trying to figure out where exactly I want to place it, because I know this thing's only going to get heavier, so I feel like we need to kind of figure this out now. I figured you didn't need to hear me huffing and puffing trying to get this thing off the pallet, but she is heavy, so have a couple of people. All right. So we're going by the Katool instructional video, since the instruction manual that came with it is 1000% useless. So there literally is no instructions. So in their video, the first step is to put that on there. All right, so the first, are those threaded? They don't look threaded. We're supposed to get in there. I didn't see any bolts and any nuts anywhere though. Is there something in there?
It's not completely aligned.
Eh? Guess they are. It's going to be an 18 on those bolts. You need to shake it around. Is it not starting?
Yeah, well, it's just bind it up.
There you go. Crank that down. Had to clean the threads out a little bit. Hey, my powder coating.
Yeah.
Damn kids. I touched up my little spot down here with some Honda Italian red that I had from my so that looks like it's fairly straight. That I had from my VFR. It doesn't match completely, but all right. Hey, look at that. Step one done. All right, step two in our video here is going to be nice. The duckbill bar. I don't know what you call it. So it looks like we got to take this top off. Take the spring off. Take the spring off. This has got to go this way. So we're going to want this to be
Reach in there.
so there's a metal plate up here. Oh, okay, I see what that is. That's the piece that that looks right though, right? Yeah. Does that look right? Or should it be at more of an angle?
I feel like it.
Should it be coming off this one?
Shouldn't it be facing? Shouldn't this? Oh no. Because the bead of the tire is going to be.
Oh yeah, no, that's like completely backwards. All right, don't do that. I'm a complete idiot. It's got to go this way. Look at that. All right, step two done. All right, next step on the YouTube video from Katool is to put the bead blaster on, so I don't know, it really matters. To be honest, what order you do it in. If you remember when we were unboxing, this little thing fell out. They make a note of making sure you put it in there. I don't know if this is going to be correct or not, but I'm going to put a little bit of tape on here as well. It's just a pretty coarse thread, but make sure we get that on there. All right, guess that's that. What was that, step 3? All right. All right, so the next step in their video is to put the bead breaker arm on. So just taking that bolt off, we got a double nut here. Yeah. So on that bolt there was a nut and a lock washer. Was that lock washer on the nut side or on the bolt side? Was with the nut?
It was, yeah.
Okay. All right. About the same. All right, while he's figuring that out, I'll see if I can get. So you got your arm here on the cylinder, and then it needs to slide into this bar here as well. So get that lined up. Easy enough. Can actually, I'm going to figure out what size these are too. Bring it back. All right, so that was a lot more difficult than it should have been, but what we've come up with is on this bar in here, I'm using a 1 1/16. I wouldn't think that SAE would fit better, but all our SAE stuff, he's using 15/16. Seems to be working better than the metric equivalent, which was about a 24, but it was a little loose for us. So I don't know really where I'm setting this, but I've seen most videos I don't know how I'm gonna get that in there. Right. That ain't gonna work. Q. Interesting. All right, so what I'm trying to tighten that lock nut and the whole shaft is spinning. So let me see if I can figure out what's going on with that. All right, so in the Katool video, they had hooked this up to air. It had this rod come out. So I hooked it up to air, but of course we don't have all the air fittings hooked up. But everything started going nuts. This opened up. This rod did come out. I don't know if that's gonna help us or not. So it did something. No. It moved for a second. Yeah, let me bring you guys in and show you what we're looking at here. So you can see, I'm just trying to get that lock nut in, but the whole shaft is spinning, so that's what we're trying to figure out. So table open though, that's cool. Should have had that on video. All right, fellas, it's a little impact. Drew that right in, and now I'm just going to tighten down that nut. I'm just going to the end, just bringing the bolt to the end of the nut there. I'm not going any further than that, so then we'll just give it a snug. I'm happy with that. All right. The only other thing I did while we were debugging here, just keeping everybody in the loop. So I plugged that line in there, but air started blowing out of there, obviously, as we when we hooked up the air line. But like I said, the table opened up. But all right, another step down. Figure out what the next one is. All right, next Dom's gonna put the bead breaker arm on. What size nut and bolt is that, Dom?
18.
All right, with an 18, so we're gonna bolt that on.
The nut's a different size.
All right, so you need a different size socket, probably. 19? All right. All right, 19 on the nut, 18 on the bolt. All right, another step down. All right, now for our first assist arm. I tried shaking as much of the weld splatter out of it as possible. So, get these 4 bolts started. Now they have these like set screws with nuts here. In the video, we can't seem to find them doing anything with it. So I don't know. Okay, so I want to make sure that this is snugged into here. Yeah. All right, so yeah, like I was saying, I don't know if you can see in the video, these they're loose though, Dom. Huh. Other people have complained, like, the instructions that come with this thing literally have no instructions on how to put it together. So it's good that they made the video, but I don't even see what these could do, if I'm being honest. All right, so we're gonna put one of the cylinders on next. Let's see what we got for swing space here. So, oh, plenty of room. Plenty of room. I like it a lot. So that's gonna go to our control box. Where the heck's this gonna go? This must go this way. All right, what do we got, pal?
I'm just guessing, but this seems like some sort of. You put this through, kind of like a washer almost. They honestly didn't show these going in.
Are those threaded?
Yeah.
All right, so there's threaded holes.
I could see bolts coming in in the video, coming in from the bottom.
Okay. There's threaded holes in the bottom of the cylinder here, and then there's these plates that match up. So there's nothing in the video, but what we're guessing is that that's going to sit down. Is that keyed at all anyway? No.
It's over here. The airline's going to cut out.
Okay. All right. So there's a way, and then that must go through
to see which of the remaining.
All right, we're gonna go check out our bolt stash here and figure out which bolts we're supposed to use. All right. So we figured out there was a set of hardware that was in the bag with the accessory arm, things. So that's what we're going to use for this. You get this plate that goes in the bottom, and it'll come up and screw those in. All right, that's going to be our feed line. There's air hoses everywhere in this friggin' thing. That's definitely going to be our feed. So like I mentioned before, we had this line here that goes to your tank. These are all spooled up back here. We got a T on it. That's a feed line. We're going to have 2 feeds from the... Right. We're going to have 2 feeds from the arms, which I'm going to assume are going to go to these, because that's the only thing that's going to make it. So where would this one connect? Where is this going to connect? Alright, well, we're going to figure that out. Meantime, alright, that's all bolted up. You can see that plate and those screws there. Might as well throw the roller on, I guess. Alright, so the nut there is a 19 millimeter. Okay. Alright, another piece down. Alright, next up is we're going to put the other arm on. Which we laugh because it's good. Yeah. One's got a little weight to it. 2, it's actually... Definitely a 2-man job here. I don't know how the 51-year-old guy, almost 51, is the one doing all the lifting here. Slight adjustment. Got some power tools here. I would still start it by hand. Okay, we're gonna get the rest of these bolts in, and we'll be right back. So I figured out where that other line I was thinking about goes, so I forgot about the air fill. So that's where that third line in the back is gonna go. So now my only question is with these cylinders, what's up and what's down? You got a hose at the top and hose at the bottom. We gotta figure that out. But all right, we're gonna put on the air fill. Now we actually have a use for these set screws. I guess maybe it depends on which side you want to put it on or something. I don't know. But so there's 17 mil back off these nuts. One of the videos that I saw, the guy had complained about this being too far forward. I think he attached it on the front, and it was getting in the way of his tires. But if you stick it back here, somehow, allegedly, yep, any day now, any day. Sure. Look, this is the reality of things here. Hate to say, this doesn't want to fit perfectly. Why is that? Because it doesn't line up perfectly. What do you know? So what I'm running into here is this one of the holes isn't lining up perfectly. I don't know if you can see that to get these both on. So I'm gonna go off camera for a second, figure out what I wanna do with that. I had to use a Dremel and just shave a little bit off this bracket in order to get these to line up. But that's the truth of putting one of these things together, I guess. So might as well show it to you. Yeah, so just here, I just shaved a little bit off. So nothing too big. Get this tightened up. Nothing that's going to affect anything, I don't think. It's just kind of a... Tom, can you get me... There was an extra washer over there. Can you give me that washer? Just noticing, because this here is sitting on these washers, I think, which is leaving a space, and you have this one extra washer. I'm curious. No, that's not going to fit. Okay. Thought maybe it would fit on there. Honestly, not crazy about this. I'm going to be honest. Alright, I'm going to make another adjustment here, people. I feel like this is supposed to sit flush around these washers, and it's not right now.
In the video, they leave these loose, put that on, tighten everything up. So it's supposed to go under those washers.
It's supposed to go under the washers. Alright, so we're going to loosen these up. Apparently this is supposed to go into those washers. So, I'll be right back. Alright, just loosening up these two bolts here. Hopefully this will make more sense to me now. Try to get this. Get on now. Well, help me understand here. See, I watched a whole bunch. Maybe I'm just the idiot, but I watched a whole bunch of videos. I didn't see anybody. See, but these washers,
They barely overlap.
They barely overlap. So they're not going to go down flat. So I don't like that either. What I actually think I'm going to do, and now this is just me trying to make this work, people, so your mileage may vary, but what I think I'm going to do is grind these two sides of these washers down so that that bracket can fit over them. And then that way these will be tight against here, and my bracket will be able to sit flat. So that's my plan. Alright, so a couple of things. When you grind washers, they get hot and you burn your fingers. But here's my thought, is I just slotted these, and I'll still start them loose and get them to sit, hopefully, in the bracket. And everything will be hunky-dory here. So. See, like that. I think that should get everything. sit nice. Yep. Okay. So that was just something that I did to make this work. Just a tiny little fitment issue. Is what it is. Maybe you'll have that issue, maybe you won't. I don't know. Like I said, your mileage may vary. Okay. All right, on to the next step. Okay, I'm gonna put the other cylinder in. Tom's got that all set up here. The only way to know which way they go is this air line has to go in with the slot. Easy enough. It's gonna be the same thing. We got the plate, three screws. So see, he's gonna, there you go, he's gonna finish those up. And he did notice I do have some damage here. This is bent. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get a cloth and a pair of channel locks, vice grips, see if I can straighten that out a little bit. I'm not too overly concerned about it. It's not gonna really affect much, but I'm gonna see if we can get that squared away while he's working on tightening those. We're gonna work on putting our first control box in. So we can't really find anything on the internet about this, but so you get obviously your feed line and then these two other lines and you're up down. The way these kind of seem to us is we're going to do this, you know, it kind of matches the hole. Right, Dom, is this what we were saying? So we're going to go bottom, like Dom said. I guess the worst case scenario is we just have to redo them. So this is us in the future. We had these backwards. So whatever you saw us do in the beginning, reverse those lines. And also, even when you release the pressure from the system, there was still pressure in these lines, as Dom found out, because it smacked him right in the face. Safety squints, people. Safety squints. So I'll put a little note. Maybe I'll just, you know what? We'll just edit in this part. So what you just heard me say about where those airlines go in here, do the opposite. They seem to come apart pretty easy, so in our feed line, yeah, they do come apart real easy. So all right. Sure. I might actually even cut that down a little bit, but I was able to straighten that little corner out as much as I needed to. Dom's going to try and get in here with the screwdriver. Everything is so greasy on this thing. I don't know. All right, while he's doing that, we'll get set up for the next one. All right, that's all hooked up. Good to go. Just these 4 little screws back here. Yeah, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. And hope that we get it right. So once we get this hooked up, again, it's the exact same thing as the other side. So, and we're going to end up putting the accessory end on there. So we'll be back. All right, so we got this control box on. This line here is pretty excessive. This one's a little long too, so I think I'm going to trim those back, and then we'll hook up the air lines. And then we'll hook up the air lines behind the machine. I think I'm going to do a little trimming back there as well. All right, so still want there to be some play. That's just a little better. Trim this one down a little bit. All right. Not necessary, but just cleans things up a little bit. I want to leave a little extra until I get using it, but I think that looks a little better. All right, we're getting there. All right, hopefully you guys can see what we got going on back here. So we have this T line here, which we're going to connect our two feeds to. So our two, feed line we're going to connect our two boxes to. So my thought is, make sure like that's extended out as much as that needs to be. Let's just plug that in. Let's cut this back a little bit too. Probably gonna find something to stick that to. Wait. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just let them hang for now. But just trying to get a little bit of the excess off. All right, and then our last airline, so this actually comes from the pedal, right? So this one is going to come up and connect into the bottom of our air gauge. And again, a little bit long, but I'm going to let this one be though, just in case. So okay. All right, let me get you in here. So we have our two lines coming from the feed up to this T, going up to our assist arms. Okay, we connected our bead blaster tank here. Looks like we got a valve for that, separate valve. This is, I'm guessing, is going into feed, goes to the pedal, which then comes back out over here and feeds our gauge. So with that, I should be able to put air to this thing. Yeah, so I should be able to put air to this thing. All right. And now we're going to say we're going to go around and check for leaks. The only leak I hear is at my fitting. That just stopped. All right. So I'm going to go around and check for leaks. All right, last step here, we're going to just attach this pad up to this piece here with the 6 bolts. So nothing too exciting there. And then we're going to move it into its final location. There are, grab those, also these rubber feet that we need to get underneath here once it's in its final resting spot. So Dom has those airlines switched around. So we're going to get this in, put it into its final spot, and then we'll go through a test run for you. Working on this pad here, Dom found that the rubber was blocking the holes in the back. It was just having trouble lining up, so we dug that out with the knife. We're hoping that helps our alignment problem. I just thought I'd note it in case you come across the same thing. So these last six bolts were taking a little longer than we anticipated, but looking pretty good though. Next to the 760, nice little tire shop. And look at that placement. That accessory arm just makes it past my cabinet. Perfect. All right, so that's gonna do it for tonight. It's getting late. I don't know, it's after 10 o'clock and I got work in the morning, but we have to kind of work on the final position. I tucked it in as close to the wall as I could get it because to clear the door, but I think that might become an issue with this this arm. So I have to kind of see. And then full transparency, so we got a little bit of a wobble, not too bad. I know it's supposed to, they want you to bolt it to the floor. I don't know if I'm ready to commit to that. So we got to figure that out. Again, it's late, but everything's working. We got, everything seems to be doing the thing. So bead blaster works, hurts our ears. I don't know if my 60-gallon compressor is gonna keep up with this thing. It comes on quite a bit, but yeah, everything's working. It's together. So we're gonna call it quits for tonight. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this unboxing and setup of the Katool KT-T830 and the Katool KT-B760. A little bit, once I get familiarized with these machines, or maybe while I'm getting familiarized with the machines, we'll do another video, first operation, and then once I get a little time under my belt with it, I can give more of a review. Wanted to be a little more detailed than I've seen some videos in that setup, because it's just never, it's not always showing all the little things that could go wrong. So hopefully somebody learned something from what we went through today. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.